Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. I was going to continue on in the introduction section, but I didn't realize how long the introduction part was, but it has a lot of great information on helping people come to the truth that didn't know the truth before, and it has some historical context in it and the message of love and a lot of stuff like that. And I wanted to share that with you guys. But tomorrow I will be finishing that section, and then and for right now we're going to be continuing on in the BYNV in Genesis. We are in Genesis or Bereshit 6. But we can read 6 and 7. And I also would like to sometime soon do a reading from the back of the BYNV so that people know how to immerse themselves. Okay, so Genesis Bereshit 6. And it came to be, when men began to increase on the face of the eretz, or the earth, and daughters were born to them, that the sons of Elohim saw the daughters of men, that they were good, and they took wives for themselves of all whom they chose. And Yahuah said, My Ruach shall not strive with man forever in his going astray. He is flesh, and his yomim, or his days, shall be 120 years. So people lived a lot longer back then. The Nephilim were on the eretz, or the earth, in those yomim, or those days, and also afterward, when the sons of Yahuah came in to the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, the men of name. And Yahuah saw that the wickedness of man was great in the eretz, or the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And Yahuah was sorry that he had made man on the earth, or on the eretz, and he was grieved in his heart. And Yahuah said, I am going to wipe off man, whom I have created from the face of the eretz, both man and beast, creeping creature, and birds of the shamayim, or the heavens, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noach found favor, or Noah, to the Christians, found favor in the eyes of Yahuah. This is the genealogy of Noach, or Noah. Noach was a righteous man, perfect in his generations. Noach walked with Yahuah, and Noach brought forth 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And the eretz, or the earth, was corrupt before Yahuah, and the eretz was filled with violence. And Yahuah looked upon the eretz and saw that it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted their way on the eretz, or on the earth. And Yahuah said to Noah, or Noach, the end of all flesh has come before me, for the eretz is filled with violence through them, and see, I am going to destroy them from the eretz. Make yourself an ark of gopher wood, make rooms in the ark, and cover it inside and outside with tar. And this is how you are to make it. The length of the ark is 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a window for the ark and complete it to a cubit from above, and set the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. And see, I myself am bringing flood waters on the earth, or the eretz, to destroy all flesh, in which is the breath of life from under the shamayim, or the heavens. All that is on the eretz, or the earth, is to die. And I shall establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you and your sons, and your Ashah, and your sons' wives with you. And of all the living creatures of all flesh, 2 of each you are to bring into the ark to keep them alive with you, a male and a female. Of the birds after their kind, and of the cattle after their kind, and of all creeping creatures of the eretz after their kind, 2 of each are to come to you, to keep them alive. As for you, take of all food that is eaten, and gather it to yourself, and it shall be food for you and for them. And Noach did according to all that Yahuah commanded him. So he did. So, Genesis Bereshit 7. And Yahuah said to Noach, Come into the ark, you and all your household, because I have seen that you are righteous before me in this generation. Of all the clean beasts take with you 7 pairs, a male and his female, and of the beasts that are unclean, 2, a male and his female, and of birds of the Shamayim 7 pairs, male and female, to keep offspring alive on the face of all the Eretz. For after 7 more Yomim, or days, I am sending rain on the Eretz, 40 Yomim, and 40 Lilas, 40 days and 40 nights, and shall wipe from the face of the Eretz all that stand that I created. And Noach did according to all that Yahuah commanded him. Now Noach was 600 years old when the flood Mayim, or flood waters, were on the Eretz, of the earth. And Noach and his sons and his Ashah and his sons' wives went into the ark because of the Mayim of the flood, or the waters of the flood. Of the clean beasts and of the beasts that are unclean, and of birds and of all that creep on the Eretz, 2 by 2 they went into the ark to Noach, male and female, as Yahuah had commanded Noach. And it came to be after 7 Yomim that the Mayim, the waters of the flood, were on the earth, or the Eretz. In the 600th year of Noach's life, in the 2nd month, and the 17th Yom, or day of the month, and on that Yom, all the fountains of the great deep were broken up, and the windows of the Shamayim, or the heavens, were opened. And the rain was on the Eretz, or the earth, 40 days and 40 nights, 40 Yomim and 40 Lila. On that same Yom, or same day, Noach and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noach, and Noach's Ashah, and the 3 wives of his sons with them, went into the ark, they and every living creature after its kind, and every beast after its kind, and every creeping creature that creeps on the Eretz after its kind, and every bird after its kind, every bird of every sort. And they went into the ark to Noach, 2 by 2, of all flesh in which is the breath of life. And those going in, male and female, of all flesh, went in as Yahuah had commanded him, and Yahuah shut him in. And the flood was on the Eretz 40 Yomim, and the Mayim increased and lifted up the ark, and it rose high above the Eretz. And the Mayim were mighty and greatly increased on the Eretz. And the ark moved about on the surface of the Mayim, and the Mayim were exceedingly mighty on the Eretz. And all the high mountains under the Shamayim, or the heavens, were covered. And the Mayim became mighty, 15 cubits upward, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh died that moved on the Eretz, or the earth, birds and cattle and beasts, and every creeping creature that creeps on the Eretz, and all mankind. All in whose nostrils was the breath of the Spirit of life, all that was on the dry land, died. So he wiped off all that stand which were on the face of the ground, both man and beast, creeping creature, and bird of the Shamayim, or the heavens. And they were wiped off the face of the Eretz. And only Noach was left, and those with him in the ark. And the Mayim were mighty on the Eretz, 150 Yomim, or days. Next time we'll be reading, after we're done with the introduction part, Genesis 8 and 9. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah in the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah in the truth.